Are phobias genetic? Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Zaki, and today we're diving into a question that's part spooky, part science. Are phobias genetic? Like seriously, if your mom starts hyperventilating every time she sees a spider, does that mean you're destined to do the same? Or is it just something you picked up along the way, like your taste for pineapple on pizza? Which, by the way, is totally valid, no judgment here. Stick around, because today we're digging into the wild world of genetics, fears, and everything in between. And I promise, we're keeping it light. No therapy bills required. So let's start with the basics. What even is a phobia? It's not just your run-of-the-mill fear. We all have stuff that gives us the creeps, like clowns, deep water, or public restrooms at night. But phobias go a step further. A phobia is an intense, irrational fear of a specific object or situation that causes real distress, and often leads people to avoid that trigger entirely. Like, we're talking full-body panic at the sight of a harmless house spider, or avoiding airplane for decades because of one bumpy ride back in '97. And they're surprisingly common. Around 1 in 8 people will experience a specific phobia at some point. You've got classics like arachnophobia, spiders, acrophobia, heights, and claustrophobia, tight spaces. But also lesser-known ones like compoundophobia, which is a fear of buttons. Yes, that's a real thing. Humans are complex. Now here's the big question. Where do these phobias actually come from? Are we born scared of snakes and spiders? Or do we learn that stuff as we go? This brings us to the classic nature versus nurture debate. On one side, you got your genes, the DNA you inherit from your parents. On the other, your environment. Everything you experience growing up, from scary movies to your dad screaming when a bee flies into the car. So, are phobias genetic? The answer is, kind of. It's not black and white. There's definitely a genetic component to phobias, but it doesn't work like a phobia gene that flips on the minute you see a clown. Instead, it's more like a combination of small genetic factors that increase your chances of developing certain fears, especially if your environment helps push those buttons. Let's zoom in on the genetic stuff for a sec. Studies of twins have been super helpful here. Identical twins share basically 100% of their DNA, while fraternal twins share about 50%. Researchers have found that identical twins are more likely to both have a phobia compared to fraternal twins. That strongly suggests that genetics play a role. And when scientists dig deeper, they found that certain genes, particularly those involved in how our brains process serotonin and dopamine, might influence how prone we are to anxiety. If you've got a brain that's wired to stay on high alert, you might be more likely to develop a phobia in response to a bad experience. So it's not that you're born scared of flying or snakes or clowns, but if your brain is more sensitive to threats, and you have a scary experience related to that thing, boom, phobia city. But wait, it's not all in your genes. Environment plays a huge role in phobias. You can actually learn to be afraid of something just by watching someone else freak out. This is called observational learning. So if little you sees your mom jump on a chair every time a mouse runs across the floor, your brain might file that away as mice equals danger. There's also classical conditioning. You remember Pavlov and his dogs, right? The same principle applies to fear. If something scary happens in a specific situation, like you get stuck in an elevator or trapped in a dark room, your brain might start associating that situation with panic, and voila, you've got a phobia. And let's not forget trauma. One traumatic experience, even if it seems minor to someone else, can plant the seed of a long-term fear. A loud noise during a flight, a dog bite as a kid, even a horror movie that hits you in just the wrong way. Those moments can stick with you and evolve into specific phobias. All right, here's the good news. Even if you've got a genetic predisposition for phobias, that doesn't mean you're stuck with them forever. Our brains are super flexible, and with the right approach, you can rewire those fear responses. One of the most effective treatments is called exposure therapy. It's basically facing your fear in small, controlled doses, so your brain can gradually learn, hey, this isn't actually dangerous. There's also cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which helps you change the way you think about the fear, challenging those anxious thoughts and replacing them with calmer, more realistic ones. Some people even use virtual reality to confront fears in a safe setting. like putting on a VR headset and taking a fake elevator ride if you're afraid of heights. It sounds futuristic, but it works. So yeah, your DNA might make you more likely to develop a phobia, but it doesn't control your destiny. You've got tools. You've got power. You're not your fear. So let's recap. Are phobias genetic? Sort of. There's definitely a hereditary element. Your genes can make you more sensitive to anxiety, more reactive to stress, or just more prone to developing fears in general. But that's only half the story. Environment, personal experience, trauma, and learned behaviors all work together with your biology to shape your specific phobias. It's like building a fire. Your genes might provide the dry wood, but your environment is the spark that lights it. And here's the kicker. Even if that fire is burning, it can be put out, or at least managed. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are a human with a quirky brain, and that's okay. All right, friends, that's a wrap on this deep dive into the world of phobias and genetics. I hope you learned something new, or at least now have a better idea of why your brain might go into full panic mode at the sight of a clown holding a balloon. It's not just you, trust me. If this video gave you some insight or made you laugh, or made you go, whoa, that's me, go ahead and hit that like button. It seriously helps the channel. And hey, if you want more content like this, where we mix psychology, science, and a little bit of humor, don't forget to subscribe to Zaki. I drop new videos every week, and you definitely don't want to miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.